back to Slow Mode. You're with your host, Maurice, CEO of Slow Mode. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank y'all for joining me this evening. Make sure you stop, hit the like and subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, trying to get everything set up. Just found out that I can't do live on Instagram currently. Yeah, I was trying to get that set up, but I don't have enough yet. Enough subscribers, I don't think. Make sure y'all follow my Instagram page. I'm trying to get that live. I don't have StreamYard, so it's kind of doing this bootleggedly, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, let's call it bootleggedly. All right, that looks good. We're gonna go on live on TikTok. Live on TikTok. Let's see. TikTok isn't giving me any. All right. Well, we're just gonna get into it on our YouTube. We're having technical difficulties with these other apps, but yeah. Thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for taking the time to tune in. If you see me, I'm currently wearing my Starship Slow Mode T-shirt. Make sure you cop that. That's in the description of this video. But yeah, the topic of this video today is African-Moorish science. I actually forgot the title of the video. Excuse me. African science before the year 711. Common Era. So we're just going to break that down because there seems to be confusion as to Moorish science and its existence within the realm of time and space. But yeah, we're just going to break this down. I plan to go over this on our YouTube channel with the regular videos besides the live stream, but we're going to break it down in the future. Just bear with us. Just wanted to go over some things because there seems to be like some confusion between Islam and the Muslims and Arabic and, and the Moors or Berbers or Garamantes, Tuaregs, North Africans, dark-skinned people, etc. And we're just going to break this down because there's a lot of confusion. These celebrities, these big platformers, they ain't saying nothing. They're just letting the narrative go on. Like their followers keep sharing misinformation. You got the I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just calling it like it is because we tell the truth. But you got the Negroes who don't understand Moorish history and basically look at you Google eye because they don't know what it is, and they just go to Google, and Google is going to give you the Europeanized definition of what Moor is. So we're going to break it down because they're going to give you everything after 711 all the way to 1492 Moorish history. We're going to give you everything before 711 CE, going back into the BCs with evidence. Factual, irrefutable evidence that these other people aren't providing. They're just saying Arabic, Islam, Muslim, Islam. Let's break it down. So I probably showed this in the previous videos, but with Negroes, it seems like you have to constantly repeat the same thing over and over again. For those that have been following me, who've known me for a while, basically, you can give this information to a Negro, but it seems to go in one ear and out the other. So since we have video recording technology now and audio visual technology, etc., it's better to just press rewind and come back to this video, since it seems that I'm starting to get a little traction on this YouTube platform thing. But what this what I have here is the Concise Dictionary of English Etymology by Walter W. Skeet. So we're just gonna go to the word moor and look at what it means. So this is on page 292, and this is, let me give you the references. This was published in 1993. I don't know which version this is, but it says reprinted in 1994. But on page 292, we have here moor, a native of North Africa, French, Latin, Greek, Old French, Moor, a Moor, Coptic, I guess, Latin, Moorish, Greek, mauros, a Moor, CF, Greek, mauros, dark. I don't know what that is. There is blackamoor, corruption of blackamoor, Minshew, i.e., blackmoor. Okay, so this is the etymological meaning of it. Okay, so that we don't go into any more confusion, right here I have Webster's New Universal Unabridged Dictionary. Unabridged. Thank you. Shout out to Taj Tariq Bey. Thank you for the information. Thank you for sharing some of the knowledge of the Moors. But we're just gonna flip to Moor just to give y'all a solid foundation on what Moor means, since Google is gonna tell you something else and GPT is gonna tell you something else. They're not gonna give you the real meaning unless you actually dig deep down and get very specific on your questions. So this is on page 1167. As you see right here, you see this Moorish doorway, this Moorish arch, Moorish portal. That's another name of it. But where's Moor at? Moor is right here. So you see noun, Latin moris, Greek moros, a Moor from moros, black or dark. Now that's the definition of it. Now you have these secondary definitions, which is what they want you to believe, and not the original etymological meaning of the word Moor. So it has one, a member of Muslim people of mixed Arab and Berber descent living in Northwest Africa. Two, a member of a group of this people that invaded and occupied Spain in the 8th century AD. So as you see from that dictionary, they want the masses, which is you guys and the blacks specifically, to believe that Moor only existed after, the 8th century or 711 AD or CE, whatever you want to call it. But it's evidence that there's already evidence that Moor means dark, North African, native of Africa, etc. I have another dictionary here, American Heritage Dictionary, second college edition. Now let's go to the definition of Moor on here. So as you can see, we already broke down the etymological meaning of it. We went to the definition of Moor, coming from Latin and Greek, which predates English. It means the same thing. It doesn't. The meaning of the word does not change. So we have here on page 813, more. Noun. One of the Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent now living chiefly in northern Africa. Number two, one of the Saracens who invaded Spain in the 8th century AD. So they're only showing the history. They're only showing the history of 8th century and above. They're not showing the Moors, which simply means dark-skinned North Africans before the period of 711. So once again, we're going to break it down. We're going to give you hard evidence, what it is, basically transport you to that information. So if you look here, you have my Twitter. If you haven't already, follow my Twitter at slow-moed 420. So let's get into it. One moment, if you will. So let's get into it. You got a lot of people on the internet. I guess a part of the moorishsciencetemple of America, or a part of secret societies. They're sending miscredited information. So if you go to my tweets, this is why it's important to follow my Twitter page. If you go to my tweets, search my tweets. I've said a long time ago, Twitter is basically like a notebook to where you just talk to yourself and you share information. So what we have here, we have this post I made back in April 10th. Proof on the, let me see if I can zoom this in for you guys. Yes, I can. I know the screen is backwards, but just bear with me. So, dang, I'm gonna use a sword. Just make this easier because the mouse isn't functioning just right. So if you see here, proof on Moors, Mauri 900 years before Islam, i.e. 406 BCE. So, like I said in my last video, Islam was created in the 6th century AD or CE. So now I have two references listed here showing the word Moor going back into 406 BC. So we got B.H. Warmington, the Carthaginian period, page 462 in UNESCO General History of Africa, Volume 2 by G. Mokhtar. Now, G. Mokhtar is an Arabic scholar who's with UNESCO. I don't know his full background, but I recall Dr. Ivan van Sertima going with G. Mokhtar to try and retrieve the splinters of the Sphinx's nose. And he claimed with his own words, I'll have to find the video for you. Dr. Ivan van Sertima claimed that G. Mokhtar remained silent when the private collector of the museum basically refused to give back the splinters of the Sphinx's nose back to Dr. Ivan van Sertima and Sheikh Anta Diop. So you also have RCC law, North Africa in the period of the Phoenician and Greek colonization, page 177. So let's basically go to these references and show the Latin words for the word Mauri See if I can zoom this in for you guys. All right, so this highlighted section. So this is from the first book of that reference, B.H. Warmington. And you have here ancient civilizations of Africa and Mauritania. I'm going to just go through this highlighted point. Mauri are referred to as early as the expedition to Sicily, 406 BC or minus 406, and Hanno's revolt in the 350s BC or negative 350s, and the Roman invasion of Africa in negative 256 BC. A king of the Mauri helped Messina at a critical at a critical point in his, I don't know what that word says, functions. I don't know what that word says. I can't see it right. It's blurry. But there were also Mauri and Hannibal's army at Zuma. So don't know if y'all can see that, but y'all can pull up that tweet just for more evidence. And we have the next reference here. See if I can go back. So this next reference is from North Africa in the period of Phoenician and Greek colonization. So it says here on the page, if this would move out the way, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I guess it won't move. Well, forget this big, whatever that big post. But we first hear of kings among the Numidians and Mauri in 406 BC, when they appear among the allies providing forces for the Carthaginian army. So the Carthaginians were Phoenicians of North Africa, and we all know that Phoenicians were Africans, according to human history. So why is this the topic today? Why are we talking about this tonight? All things. We are still creating Moorish portals for you guys by use of animation or anime, movie music videos, and gaming music videos. We're still using this African knowledge because that's where the science comes from. As you can see on my shirt, this is African. So we all know that the science is, well, some of us don't know, and this is why this video is being created. This is why this live stream is being created. This is why this business exists in this realm of time and space right now, to take you guys' minds and perceptions to different dimensions perceptionally, using the black dot in the human brain, basically, where it's all interconnected. This knowledge is everywhere for the taking, although it is hidden to those that are ignorant. So, the reason why I'm making this, the reason why I'm touching on this topic today is because you have a lot of people in these secret societies and in Moorish Temple of America, I suppose, that they don't want to tell this side of the history. They don't want to tell the people that aren't hip or knowledgeable to this information how far Moorish history goes back. Because I'm basically going to try and break it down to where a 5-year-old can understand what I'm saying, or give you basically a layman's example of why obtaining this type of knowledge is difficult in the first place. So basically, you have certain people that do not like Africans, However, they understand. I will say it like this: you have certain type of people that do not like Africans, correct? And some understand African history, and some do not understand African history. So the ones that, according to our evidence, let me give you another book. You have history's timeline, a 4,000 year chronology of civilization. Okay, so there are people that do not like Africans and they do not know history. And there are some that do not like Africans and they know the history. So I have here on page 8 the most advanced of these early men, known as Homo erectus. Examples have been found in Africa and Asia. Homo erectus learned how to use fire for cooking and warmth and to drive away wild animals. This meant that man could begin to move into Europe, much of which was covered with ice and all of which was very cold. So let me back it up for those not understanding, basically. So we have here the earliest men yet found are known as the Australopithecines. Many skulls and other bones of these creatures have been found in Africa. So now, is that saying America? Is that saying Europe? Is that saying Australia? I mean, I didn't. I didn't. This book is by Gene Cook, Ann Kramer, Theodore Roland Entwistle. I don't know who these guys are, but it's saying Africa. So there are people that understand this knowledge, and they basically want to muddy the, or they want to confuse the people that don't know this knowledge, or don't know the origins of humans. So having understand that the first the first human was melanated according to history. We have this book, Tombs, Graves, and Mummies by Paul G. Bond. Just gonna flip. And as you can see, both of these books are not African books, but yet they have Egyptian symbolism. Hmm. So I just want to flip all the way through to, we can go to, let's start here since we just went over at Astropithecines. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. I'm not a anthropologist. So I'm just break it down. I went over this in our earlier videos or earlier lives, but Lucy, our most famous relative. Early members of the human family, this is on page 14. Early members of the human family were known mainly from small fragments of bone until the 1974 discovery of Lucy's 40% complete 3.18 million year old skeleton in an Ethiopian wasteland. Now, Ethiopia is in Africa, for those that didn't know. So, Lucy was a kind of Australopithecine. These were small brain ape-like creatures which lived from before 4 million to just another million years ago, and which took the first steps on the road to modern people by standing, walking, and running on two legs. So now that we're understanding that humanity did come from Africa, um, I want to get on, and how this relates to Moors is because the Africans are Moors. Let me break that down. So there's a book called, let's see here, one moment. I don't think this is the right account. I can probably search it on my Twitter anyway. So if you search on my Twitter, I have it listed here somewhere. So there's this book called The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles by Dr. John L. Johnson. Wish I can pull it up in here. Since it's not showing up on the screen, I will pull it up for you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Drop a comment where you're viewing from. Uh, Also, add any information that y'all would like to add to this discussion as we break down and get to the origins of this to clear up the confusion. I can't view it right now, unfortunately. So we'll just bypass that for right now. But in this book, he lists basically African-Moorish connections with easy evidence. Reason why I wanted to make that connection between um, the Africans and the Moors and Homo sapiens sapien is because people on you have people with large accounts, correct? Large followings. If you haven't already, if you haven't done so already, check our official website, slow-moed.com. Buy merchandise. Let's see. I know it's just like a large library. I basically for note taking. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy. Trying to give his name. Dervid. Dervid on Twitter. At Dervid Osiris. MSU 2020. Basically, this guy shares a lot of misinformation, and he has a large following. So Dervid has a lot of um, secret society members that follows his page, or people that are truly ignorant to African history. And in my own opinion, my own analysis, um, I believe David believes that humanity started in America. I don't know where he got his information from. I don't know if he's a part of some secret society or something, but he says if we have to prove that we're Indian, then you have to prove that you're from Africa. So I just showed to you um, the origins of Homo sapiens sapien. So it's like, what is he talking about? So I decided to post or comment under this video. Here's evidence Homo sapiens sapiens come from Alkebulan or Africa. So as we went over in our last live stream, the first Americans were Africans revisited by Professor David Imhotep. He gives evidence in this first part of his book to demonstrate that the first Americans were Africans and the rest of the planet the Homo sapiens sapien comes from Africa. He already went over this, but yeah, this is still basically an example that the word Moor predates Islam, which was the Moors ruling Spain before 711 AD or CE. So now let's go to David Imhotep's book on where he talks about the Moors. So David Imhotep's book, the first Americans were Africans. Let's see. So we have on page 57, the page may be different depending on where you are viewing from, but it says here, if someone wanted to know where the Moors originated, the smartest way to answer that question would be, how far back do you wish to start? Let us take a trip all the way back to the Moors, who were Africans from Mauritania. So, if the Moors were Africans from Mauritania and Homo sapiens sapien comes from Africa, well, we're calling it Africa today, but it comes from that continent of Africa, or Alkebulan, which is the motherland. This is before 711 AD. So, my question to you guys are, if you can answer this, why are there people in the Moorish Temple of America continuing to say Islam, continuing to use Arabic words, um, and basically perpetuating this when the people that don't understand this information, which are Negroes or the uninitiated people that are not in secret societies, why are they saying Islam and making the confusion as if Moors only ruled from 711 to 1492, when I just gave six different uh, examples of evidence to debunk the to actually just show that the Moors existed before 711 with evidence, and that they were in fact African before Islam existed, according to English, according to Greek, and according to Latin. So, yeah. So, that kind of breaks it down. And I understand now. Let's get this straight. Let's get this sorted out so there's no confusion. I do understand that basically there are people that join the Moorishsciencetemple of America, and there are secret codes just like there is in secret societies like the Freemasons and the Shriners and all the rest of them. Yeah. So there's secret code words and stuff. And I understand that you can be initiated in um, the Moorish Science Temple of America. They have their own um, rituals and stuff. So my thing is, what I wanted to touch on is like these guys on this YouTube, they give good information, right? But they don't tell, just like Noru Drew Ali said, um, that half has been revealed. If I told you the other half, you'll go back to sleep. So basically, he's not telling the other half, which is before 7/11, which is what's used to confuse the people that aren't familiar with Moorish African history. So basically, I'm basically giving the knowledge that these celebrities and these secret society members are not going to give, and they're just going to keep perpetuating this confusion so that the Negroes don't get it in their heads that they're talking about them. They're talking about their ancestry. They're talking about everything that they are. Yet the Negroes neglect that they are African. They have African origins, and they believe and have this inferiority complex that they were just spawned from slavery, and they just spawned here, and then that's it. So that's the perpetuated narrative that these ruler guys or ruler people or whoever they want to be, that's what they're trying to perpetuate. That's what they're trying to perpetuate. They understand the origins of humans. They know where they come from, but they try and make it confusing. Now, if you try and tell this, no, with people like David and Tariq Nasheed, Jesse Lee Peterson, um, the Hodge twins, etc. They're dark-skinned people, correct? But they have a narrative to share misinformation and to confuse the people and to insult and basically um, ridicule the people calling themselves black and their culture because they don't understand history and they don't understand their African-Moorish connection. So there's a disconnect to try and stop the blacks, African Americans, Negroes, colored people, etc. There's a disconnect to try and prevent them to understanding Moorish history and how that connects with them, and how the word Moor meant dark skinned, swarthy, which simply means dark skinned North African, which is um, where the slaves were taken from, well, where the Africans were taken from and made slaves in South Carolina, North Carolina, the start of the transatlantic slave trade. However, what the blacks, coloreds, Negroes, African Americans, etc., what they don't understand is that the Moors were enslaving the Europeans during the transatlantic slave trade. So their same ancestors that were being cast out of Spain during the Spanish Inquisition, which is the end of 1492, when the Moors went back into North Africa, they were they were becoming pirates and corsairs and enslaving the Europeans that had kicked them out of Moorish Spain and all the other places, correct? So there's a disconnect. And there's people like David who wants to say that uh, uh, the blacks are Indians and they've been here forever, which they were Africans because Homo sapiens sapien comes from Africa. If we use that terminology, I would just say Homo sapiens sapiens came from Africa, and there's DNA evidence that the Homo sapiens sapiens, which were the modern man Africans were already here over 100,000 years ago, and that's in the book. The first, the first Americans were Africans revisited, and it's in that book. So humans migrated from East Africa throughout the rest of the world, but they all started in Africa first. Now, since we're using the English language to communicate with each other, the last legal name of the people calling themselves Black, Negro, Colored, African American, etc., the last legal name in English, and that's written in law and in history, was Moor, according to English. Now, there's laws that goes deep into that. There's civics behind that. That other people in the moorishsciencetemple of America can better explain. Though one must always understand that the term Moor means dark skinned and swarthy, and that's what it meant before anything else, according to English, Greek, Latin. So this was 1,000 years before 711 CE. So if you try and tell a Negro this, they're not gonna get it. So this is why the video is being created. This is why the live is being created, to answer questions that may be hard to find because GPT, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer is not going to tell you this information. It has to be found. It has to be researched, which we did. I did the research. I went back and traced it like a mole. Traced it for you guys so y'all can find it. Let's go back to my page. I break this down as well. I'm said it. So here we have in April 10th. Google, Wikipedia, ChatGPT is playing with y'all about who the Moors are and what it means. So if you look up Moors, it's going to give you everything after 711 and not anything which I've shown you before 711 and how that connects with Africans and African history. Not just Muslim, Islam, whatever. So I'm gonna give y'all I'm just gonna give y'all like a few things. This is another tweet that I did. This was 3 years ago. If you see me, this is Scarface on Ghetto Boys Reloaded. I'm just gonna make this.
I'm different. Okay, see what I'm saying? Like it's so you don't consider me African American, right? Yeah. That's what they say. That's what they say. I know it's impossible. It's impossible for me to be. No, I'm a Moor. Like I'm different. I'm different. See what I'm saying? Like it's impossible for me to be the oppressed and the oppressor. See what I'm saying? Like me, you call me an African American. Yeah. I get something. Well, I get something. What? I'm sorry. All that. Give me five, man. We finally agree on something. Yeah. For real. So you don't consider me African American, right? Yeah.
So if you can see, legendary rapper Scarface out of Houston, Texas, just basically said that he was a Moor. No, he doesn't go into much detail in this video, though it is understood that he understands Moorish history and he understands his nationality. So it's like, why are we playing this game? And you try and tell Negroes this shit, excuse my language, but you try and tell Negroes this, and they look at you like it's a group or club, right? You got Kanye West. Now I'm telling you, these are celebrities because this is who the regular people follow. This is what they So if you look here, this was back in April I agree, Ye should see his kids. However, human beings are not crayons. Black is a status. At Kanye West said he not black, but was Indian, or is it more? So let's go to this video. Kanye West. Uh, Let me go back. Have some technical difficulties. Maleficent, they called her race of people the Moors, and the Moors are. And I just saw it again. I was just like, yo, if you erase our history, like most black people, we don't know. We're not black. How about that? We're not black. We're Indian. Maleficent. So they call. So Kanye West understands that black people, so-called black people, are Moors. Yet he doesn't go into much detail in it. He understands that Joe Rogan understands who the Moors are. So why are we playing this game? Uh, so yeah, since I have my platform and you guys are tuning in, and we're creating Moorish portals using Moorish knowledge, African knowledge. We're creating Moorish portals using African knowledge, and we're basically um, challenging the narrative of complacency amongst this society, and basically able to transport you guys' minds to different alternative realities using Moorish science, something that has never been done in human history, and we're doing it with ease. We're using ancient mystical knowledge, ancient mysticism to transport y'all to transport y'all to you know, knowledge and wisdom. So check out our official website, buy our merchandise, buy our clothing, buy our drip. You know what I'm saying? If you want to look sharp, want to look fly, make sure you go to our official website. Subscribe to our email newsletter. If you haven't, y'all can fill out that information. Go to our shop. This is our official website, slow-moed.com. We got our merchandise for you guys. Make sure you buy it. Very affordable prices, comfortable and durable. Different colors are available. It's only available in unisex size. We don't have gender bias clothing yet as far as the sizes go, but we plan to eventually incorporate that. So make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like our slow-mo portals. But yeah, we're creating more Moorish portals for you guys. We're working every day. As you can see, I have my lab coat on. You know, it requires both the physical and spiritual esoteric knowledge that is hidden from the profane or ignorant or vulgar or public people. So yeah, check out our latest slow-mo portal. Check our latest slow-mo portal. Mint condition, that's the way. Good burger portal. I don't want to play the don't want to play the music so I don't get like demonetized, etc. But y'all get the gist. We create Moorish portals using African knowledge. Um, just how it relates to Good Burger. You know, all the portals don't have to basically be blatant obvious in this relationship to Moorish science. Just having the simple understanding that science originated from Africa or Alkebulan is basically the understanding, but mixing that with our current day science and technology. As you can see, both of the brothers, the main characters, are dark skinned, swarthy, and they practice, you know, the Moorish practice of drama, which was expressed in ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt through their plays, their hymns, their chants, etc. But also you have the comedic side of buffoonery. Buffoonery goes back into ancient Britain, all Europe, the Moors or Gypsies or Pits were basically jugglers, but you know, jokers, clowns, gestures, and basically they used that to entertain the public. They were also poets and playwrights, uh, minstrels, etc. So that is incorporated into the video, and you know, it's Moorish science. It's Moorish African science. That's what it is, and most of the history in ancient Britain was before 711. So that's some more Moorish history that isn't talked about. You can refer to the book Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 and 2. Also by David McRitchie, The Fions, Fairies, and Fauns. That's on ancient British history. Also, Dr. John L. Johnson, The Negro Rulers of Scotland, the British Isles. Yeah, and so it's basically all there. There's more books, but that's a good starting point. There's also Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, The African Presence in Early Europe. So there's more information on Moors before the 711 CE that's available that won't be shared on through these people associated with Moorish Science Temple of America or the secret societies. So we're using this African Moorish knowledge to share out to the world because don't nobody else want to do it. The celebrities want to give you only pieces and send you on your way, but we basically giving it to you guys. We're espousing it through our clothing, we're espousing it through our lives, through our Moorish portals, and we just need y'all to hit that like and subscribe button and read our blogs. We go into more detail with it if the lives aren't good enough. Maybe you're deaf. So basically, if you're a deaf person or unable to hear, you can go to our blog page. So we give the information to be accessible to those that are blind or deaf. So we're making it universal to be understood by many and comprehended by many. But yeah, on our blogs, check out our blogs. The information is available here. Give them a read, give them a rating, give them a comment. We have more blogs coming on in the future. But read them. They're available in over 17 different languages. So this one's our top blog right here, our top article currently is Consequently Moorish Facts Not Known to the Blacks. Basically, this is a picture of King Aman KV 62 chamber. That's a wall painting showing the dark-skinned, swarthy Africans here. As you know, Homo sapiens sapien comes from Africa, and they're all dark-skinned. But if you tell a Negro this, they don't wanna comprehend English, which I just gave through like 3 dictionaries and some more references. But yeah, basically we break it down. We talk about the origins of humankind starting in South Ethiopia and spreading out to the rest of the world. So you have YouTube, you have Twitter pages like Darvid thinking that humanity started in America and they're Indians and everything, but as you can see, the roadmap comes from here. But also with David Imhotep's new information, he's saying that Africans sailed from Africa. I don't know which exact location yet because there's no evidence on it. But he's saying that Africans sailed to the Americas approximately 100,000 years ago. But it's like, as we can see in with Adam's calendar, since there was movement of Africans in South Africa and uh, Mozambique and South Africa, Johannesburg, with the stone circles and Adam's calendar and the monoliths, there's evidence of the dates of those stones being, or megaliths being built 75,000 to 200,000 years ago. So that's indicating that the Africans or ancient Moors, which are Africans or dark-skinned people, were using navigational science 75 to 200,000 years ago, and that's around when Omo was discovered in South Ethiopia. So it's like the dating of Omo, which is Homo sapiens sapien, which but now the most recent Homo sapiens sapien discovered was in Morocco at 300,000 years ago. At first, it was Omo in South Ethiopia, but we all understand that humanity started in Africa. But having seeing that in South Africa in Adam's calendar, that's named by Johann Hein and Michael Tellinger, we're saying that those dates are 75,000 to 200,000 years ago. So they had navigational science of the stars to navigate north, south, east, and west, or the cardinal points. So they already had that understanding. So they could have sailed across from Africa to Americas via the currents in the ocean. This is a small amount, but basically, there's you all know the currents in Africa to America that pulls ship vessels to Americas. But basically, David Imhotep gives all that information in his book. The first Americans were Africans, and we all know that Homo sapiens sapien comes from Africa. And the word used for the dark-skinned people, according to English, Greek, and Latin, is mauros, mauri, mauri, moors, etc. So this is before 711 Common Era and before Islam existed. So why are these Moorish Science Temple, secret societies, and ignorant people still confused? So make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year 2025, if that's possible. I know it's possible. Just need y'all more motivated to subscribe to our channel. And we have more and more African portals being created. And we're about to get back to work. So thank y'all for tuning in. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.